Alright everyone, this is a 1997 Ford Ranger. The Honda I'm working on is from 1998. So the aging and stuff on this truck should be about what I would expect on a Honda that old that's been taken care of fairly well. The person that had it before me apparently didn't sand before they painted that. And I need to wash her, but I usually get her in for maintenance and stuff on time. What we're out here to do is take a look at the under the hood and see what I can reasonably expect for weathering. So that's why I brought you along. Be back in a second. Here we go. Now you can see the color I was trying to get with my washer bottles. I'm actually hitting it fairly well. They should be grimed up and they'll look fine. You can see the dirt I need to add to my engine by looking at this. The air intake right there. The washer bottles, yeah, I'm hitting the washer bottle color just right. The battery, this is the main thing I came to look at. The corrosion on it, the color of it. Well, I've seen white batteries, so I'm not worried about the battery being white, but again, it should be dirty like this. It looks like we've had some leaks in this. I need to get this over to my mechanic and let them do it. I used to do all my own car repair work, and I'm just too lazy now. I'll let someone else do it. So I see something that looks like it's leaking in a couple of spots. We can see the distributor cap on this thing. This thing has 2 distributor caps. It is a 4-cylinder with 8 spark plugs. Strangest thing I've ever seen. Okay, here's the fan. You can see the fan motor there. You can see why I was painting mine the same color as the radiator bottle, because the plastic is. Okay, we can see the alternator down there. The alternator on the Honda goes way down below it. You can see all the electrical connections in the back, all these little doodads back here, vacuum pumps and all this other stuff. Again, there's the master brake cylinder. There's the fuses. Okay, and this is what I want to model my engine to look like. Only difference is this truck was black to begin with, so those fender wells are black. On the Honda, they're going to be red because I'm painting the car red. Okay, so we have a nice little tour of an engine just to take a look, see what I'm gearing for with my paint job. I need to dirty her up quite a bit. The blacks are way too black. Okay, they need to be lightened up with some gray overspray or something. And you can see the exact same thing on the car engine. The serpentine belt on this thing is black, and that was one thing I wanted to check. It's not a rubber color, it's black. The hoses are black with that same overspray. So basically, once I get the engine together, I can start weathering this. The spark plug wires don't match everything because I had them replaced a year ago. Okay? I keep this truck because she's cheap. Seriously, cheap. I paid for it in cash. I've spent about $3,000 in maintenance in 5 years on it, and you can do the math on that. That's far cheaper in car payments. And I really don't care about rebuilding stuff on it because it just keeps going and going and going. It's got about 160, 170,000 miles on that engine, and I should get another 100,000 miles out of it. I mean, I'm really happy with this truck. She's old, she's beat up. I didn't pay much for her, but hey, you can't knock it when it goes and it's cheap. You just can't. Actually, I drive it more in the BMW too, and some of you know I have a BMW if you watch my driving videos. And just an update, the Brakuri, I think we did some zooming or something. Yeah, we did while I was walking. The Brakuri Cruiser sticker is still on the back. I put that on there 2 years ago when I was building the Brakuri Cruiser, and I just had an extra one, so stuck it on the back of the truck, and it is still there and holding up well. That tells you how well that vinyl works for stickers. All right, I'm going to go in and try to figure out how to weather like that. So I'll be back in a bit. After looking at my car under the hood of the truck, this black is too black. Nothing looks that way, and I didn't do a good job painting that fan. Although the radiator cap is fine. But this black is too black. I'm going to repaint all these black parts. Give them a different color. I'm going to repaint some of them differently than others. But yeah, everything's going back in, including the master brake cylinder, because it was close to what I wanted, but not quite. I'm just not happy with the colors. So we're painting them up a different shade. I'm going to, yeah, that's the engine encased in silly putty. Some other things are getting in colors. I didn't like how the battery came out. White batteries do exist, but I just didn't like it, so it's getting a different color of paint. Okay, I'm also hitting the mirrors with Aqua Gloss Clear. I've heard some people hitting chrome with lacquer clear coats and it destroys it. So I'm hitting it with this, which is not a lacquer paint. I'm not sure what it is. To be honest with you, if I read it, I can figure it out. Okay, I'm not sure what it is. I haven't read it. Don't really care. Just know how to clean it up and work it. So I'm going to get on this. I'm going to have a long airbrushing session. Be back in a little bit. All right, we did our next round of painting. I mean, yes, that's a helicopter tail rotor. I'm working on the Sea King for the Mercury 9 at the same time. I think these colors are better, more like what's in the engine. There are actually some parts in here with 5 or 6 colors on them now. We're moving along. I'm going to be able to put that engine together this weekend if I can keep this pace up. I will talk to you guys later. Alright, I've touched up the paint on the battery. I'm about to go paint that washer fluid bottle. Engine, I have to be careful how I handle it because I'll undo it. It's oil paints. I hit it pretty hard with the oil paints. I use 3 or 4 different colors. You can see I've dirtied it up quite a bit. Done some streaking and various other things. There's only a couple places I can touch it. Toned down that gold paint with some dirt. It really wasn't supposed to be gold, but it came out that way. So this has got to cure up for about 24 hours before I can really touch it again, which is fine. I got plenty to do. I've got washer fluid bottle and all these parts in here to finish detailing out. I got to hit the dash. I got to do some other stuff. What I'm going to do now is I am going to work on painting the fluid levels in some of these little bottles. Okay. This part right here needs some more work on it. I'm not 100% happy with it, but I'm going to hit it with... They're all going to get hit with oil paints when I'm done, just like I did that engine, to be honest with you. So I'm not too concerned with how they look at the moment. Okay? And you guys can see how tiny these parts are. By the way, there's very little brush painting on these guys. This is all done with the airbrush. And I've got bad lighting here. I did all these different layers of paint with the airbrush. I just did one thing with the paintbrush. Just one. Okay? Almost all of this is airbrushed with masking. And my masking fluid on my mirrors looks like it's curing up very nicely. I'm going to put a second coat on that because I don't like how that puddled. Yeah, there we go. And I don't like how that puddled at all. I'm going to pull that off and start that one over. They didn't cure up right. So I'm going to have to redo the masking fluid. Just let that cure up and I'll pull them on those two. Such is life, so I'm not painting those today. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I'm trying to experiment for actually painting the Honda and everything in general. I got some Tamiya flat base here, and I once made a mistake with this stuff. I used it like paint. And boy, let me tell you, you do not use this stuff like paint. You get a very rude awakening when you do. Okay? What I'm doing right now is I'm mixing it with Future. I've got 15 drops of Future and 5 drops of flat base in here. That's a pretty potent concoction of flat base. Okay? And it's an experiment because of that one time when I painted it. I'm painting it on my card here so I can see something. Yeah, paint's just like paint because of the Future. Okay, it'll dry up fairly quickly because Future dries up fairly quickly. Alright, so there's that. 15 drops Future, 5 drops flat base. I gotta blow that out of the airbrush now. That's basically a 3-to-1 ratio. 15-5, yeah. So now I'm going to cut it. I'm going to do something. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops of Future. I can tell I got the flat base in my hands already. And we're going to do 5 drops of flat base. Yes, I'm crazy. Because if you've used this to be a flat base, you know what I'm doing right now is crazy. Never paint with it that strong. Flat base is used to flatten paint. You can take a gloss paint and turn it flat real quick with this flat base. Okay? I've got a 2-to-1 ratio now. 2 drops of Future to 1 drop of flat base. And I'm going to paint it another place on here. Okay, now I gotta blow that out of the airbrush. All right, up next, 1-to-1 mixture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, part of the problem is flat base is pretty thick stuff. So I put 5 drops of flat base in your 5 drops of Future. It's starting to get too thick to go through the airbrush. I'm sure of that. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, see that white on there? That's the flat base setting up. The flat base cures white, like white paint. Okay? Maybe some of you are already starting to see what I'm trying to do. Let's blow some of that through. We'll put some of that on here now. It blows out pretty quick too. Okay. Now, right there, that's already dried. You can see it flattened up the paint pretty nicely, and that was the 2-to-1 ratio. The 3-to-1 ratio over here is not 100% dry, but it flattened off the paint too. It took the gloss right off the paint. We gotta let this stuff dry to see the full effect of it though. Because when I did my mistake before, I didn't see the full mistake until I was done and it had cured up and dried. It was just like, oh my, what the heck have I done when I looked at it? I couldn't believe what I saw. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. I'll show you what happened in a little while. Alright, time to report on my experiment with the flat base. Oh, one other thing, I primered the hood. Now, this end here where I did 3-to-1, it just flattened the paint. So you make a good flat coat. Okay, in fact, it really just did a satin finish. As we go across, this is the 2-to-1, and that definitely flattened the paint. Okay, and then the 1-to-1's here, and the 1-to-1 is here. Look at that. Look at that speculation on there. I mean, that's beautiful. I'm going to see if I can duplicate that again in a little bit, because this is what I was looking for. Okay, so I got to do 1-to-1 on it. Alright, I'll be back later, but you can see, you can get some interesting effects out of 1-to-1 with flat base. Granted, I didn't mix it very heavily with the Future, so you got some pure Future flat base here, mixed with half mixed Future and flat base there. Some bubbles in it too. I mean, that's perfect for what I'm looking for the effect I'm looking for. Anyhow, I'll be back later.